Peruan Saranai, dear friend of Dhamma. Today we are ready to start our English Zoom Dhamma talk. Uh, First, I would like to pay our spiritual Dhamma guidance teacher, Buddha Sadhu Arana, and also welcome to attending of Dhamma. Uh, we about this the Dhamma about Buddha Pradaran join with us. Lord Buddha's teachings are based on cause and effect, Hetu-phala. There's no, uh, when necessary conditions are present, things happen. However, today most people hold to the law of karma and they think if they do certain actions, then they can accomplish certain results. They are not then they are not real Buddhas. Do you know how a Buddhist thinks? He thinks there is no individual self, personal self, or me here. For a long time, we have not taken this to be true. This is the problem. Today, we have a king of mixed up Buddhism with other religious systems. Some of the other belief systems have entered into Buddhism. On top of that, some teachers put their own spice of teachings without experiential understanding. That resulted is wrong interpretations and wrong practices. Because of this, most people are confused and have become helpless today. They do not know what is right and what is wrong. May have separated and moved away from the traditions of will as teachings. People can hardly hear the true teachings of Lord Buddha. We are trying to bring back the true message of the Lord Buddha. They are in line with the Buddhist scripture. Tripitaka, we should listen to Dhamma with an open mind. You do not need to rush. If you listen to Dhamma with the proper attitude, even only day is enough to recognize this the truth. If you sit and contemplate the teachings properly and instead you rise the Arana, then Aranas and realize Arahant. We tell all the time that there are no things outside, all in your mind only. If you recognize this, you are free from the other world. That is your reached Sotapatti state, streaming. Then you have no return to the mundane way of thinking. You move to the higher realm on no fading to the lower realm. Once you recognize that the external world fails, how can there be heaven or hell? Then where do you expect to go? Here only a thought appears and disappears. Appears, some disappears. Nothing more. There is no exchange thought or mind. Then how can there be personal and individual self? There is nobody here. Do you recognize this Buddhist teaching is anta, anatta dhamma, non-self? Lord Buddha asks in this I permanent or not? Chakku nitato aniccato, aniccham. Their reply came, not permanent, anicca. If the eye is not permanent, it is suffering dukkha. How can you consider the I is self, Atmaya? Buddha's teaching is Anattadhamma, non-self. All discourses sutras iterate there is no self, only this mode. All our Dhamma talks are in line with Tripitaka. Tripitaka contains sutras which are Buddha's narratives and discourses. If you read Tripitaka, you will notice this. Every discourse in Sutra explain there is no self. However, this message has not been conveyed to your society properly because there is no spiritual backing on society. This country declined rap- rapidly as of today. Modern people today need shocks to open up their eyes to reality. Otherwise, all are happily sleeping in ignorance. You cannot move forward in the spiritual path by keeping one leg on the world and this other and spirituality. You have to understand Buddha's teachings properly in their purest, purest form. As before, you can offer flowers to Buddha and you can do other observations. However, you have to see your mind, your thought constructors. You need to be aware at thought else. There are no king outside as you perceive them to be. Then you see the Buddha's nature. You should know your ritual with this awareness. Remind yourself what whenever teaching are contemplated. Your inner distrust heads away. Now you are moving along the path of diminishing raga, dvesha, and moha. That is where the purification of the mind happiness. Getting your mind purified every day is called meritorious deeds. The desire to see the truth is called akarati shraddha. You have mind means you have objects like books, children, houses, vehicles, etc. All are merely thoughts. When you recognize thoughts are not real, then ragadesha moha start fading. Then your mind gets purified. If you become a slave to your mind, ragadesha moha and increased. When you when you watch the teledrama in TV, you get excited, you become angry, you become sorrowful, etc. Actually, you are looking at a glass screen and you are making your own ragadesha moha to all those that appear on the screen. When ragadesha and moha are increased, you fall into the law tower word. However, if you know the truth of the mind, teledrama is another drama only. You can watch the drama without getting catch up with the life lotus leaf of the water, not getting wet by it. You can maintain sanity within no matter what happens in the drama. This is the skill one needs to develop. When you understand drama, when you can understand Dharma, you can live normal life without inner fire of resistance. You will not be affected by hate, mm, mm, Atalodhama. This is extinguishment. This is Nibbana. Your internal fire and restlessness of extinguish. Then, the friend of Dhamma, like this, we are mm, practicing our life, practice in our life, day to day life. Then, when we practice in Dhamma, sometimes we want to. we faced the error of Dhamma. So then we want to solution, and we want to give the advice from our Kalyana Mitra, spiritual Dhamma guidance teacher, Buddhotpada Aranhanse. Buddhotpada Aranhanse always ready to give advice and explain this Dhamma and correct path to Nibbana. Then Buddhotpada Aranhanse joined with us, very wait. She attend to it with us. We listen the Dhamma talk. Therefore, Sarnai.
තෙරුවන් සරණයි මෑණියන් වහන්ස. තෙරුවන් සරණයි ආර්යයන් වහන්ස. Please accept my humble worship. තෙරුවන් සරණයි everyone. Let me ask you a question from you. So I'm going to ask a question. So you have to give an answer. So why do we suffer? Why do we feel suffer? Now, what is your answer for that? Definitely, you need to have an answer for this. From where the suffer comes from? From where it derives? Why do I feel suffer? Whatever said and done, I mean, I feel suffering. I feel pain. Right? So from where it comes? So we need to ask ourselves. So we should know. So you will say you suffer just because of the outside things. Sometimes that can be your first answer. So we suffer just because of the outside things. Right? Or you will say, I suffer because of my thoughts. So that can be another answer, right? I suffer because of my thoughts. Or one would say, I suffer just because of my senses, right? Now, is any of these answers are correct? So what is the correct answer? So we need to discuss ourselves, right? Are we really suffering due to the outside things? Now, sometimes if you take your child, for example, you will say, yes, I feel my child outside. I feel my house real. So you feel it as real, right? And therefore you think, and the particular pain or maybe a happiness, all that comes from outside. That's how you understand it. But if you really question yourself, if you analyze the scene, how you really experience the scene, so at your eye sensor level, so there will be a spark, right? So that spark in the eye is the sea. But we know at that level it is just a image only, just a vibration only, right? So any of that cannot identify what it is. But we know there is some itta sanya there. That means there is some alive field there, but there is something there. That particular existent field is there, but it will not able to identify what it is. That is the nature of the I consciousness. So we know, we have understanding of that, right? So, but if we further look into that, we understand at the sensor levels. It is the Chakku Rupa or Ghana Rupa or Jivha Rupa or Kaya, right? So that all those are Rupa. Rupa means you understand Rupantiko also Rupa. That vibration is formed due to Rupane or Kampane, or we call the vibration. See, it's all vibration. Vibration means not a thing. It is a speed. So even though I call it Chakku Rupa, you need to understand that there is nothing material there. It is just a speed only. Due to the speed, it appears like that. So that's the kind of shape or the image. Now we understand all that. And if our sensor, I mean the eye sensor and the body sensor, the nose sensor, ear sensor, they cannot identify what the outside world is all about. So if they are unable to identify, then who is going to identify? It is the mind. It is the thoughts. So now you have to understand. So even though we all the time try to pinpoint outside and say it is because of that person I get suffering. Sometimes we say it is because of that person I am hurt. Else I might say I cannot live without my child. I cannot live without my husband. I cannot live without my house. I cannot live without my relations. So all that, understanding you have just because you have an incorrect understanding that all the time your eye can see outside. But actually it is not the case. There is no way for you to experience the outside world. See, it is always the mind experience. So if the mind gives the interpretation that it is your child, whoever is standing in front of you, then only you understand it. So then the question we need to ask is whether the thoughts exist. Actually, thought is something like a spark, or it is a vibration. So thought means nothing else. The moment you have a spark in any of the senses, a kind of a feel, we call Vedana or feeling, will occur as the mind consciousness. So basically there is a feel. That feel can be either, Sappa Vedana, Dukha Vedana or Adukkama Sukha Vedana. Right? So that feeling can be, pleasurable, that is the Sukha Vedana, Sappa Vedana, or feeling may be painful, that is the Dukkha Vedana, or feeling may be neutral. Right? Now don't try to analyze this Dhamma just by words. You now look at any of the things in your house, if you are in the house, and just see what's the feel I'm getting. That feel is the mind consciousness that you have to understand. Now, for example, let's say there is a cloth rack in your house. Now, in that cloth rack, you will find various clothes hanging. right? Maybe, let's say, a white color shirt, right? And then there would be some your favorite dresses maybe there, right? So now various colorful dresses are there. Then what happened? Now if you observe yourself, you can understand your feel will change from one to the another. So one time you are born in a white shirt and you have some feel, and then you are, let's say, born in another dress. Let's say something has happened to the dress, and you so the moment the sight occur, you will get some feel, no? So that feel is the one we need to understand. Now, friends, I think you know that feel may be pleasurable, that is the sukha vedana, or the feel may be painful, that is the dukkha vedana, and the feel may be neutral, right? So that is neither pleasurable nor painful. That is adukkama sukha. So what is this feel? That feel first you need to understand. Now that feel means what? Now, for example, when I say a child, right? A child. The moment you hear the word child, what happens? What's going on in your mind? So one would get an image of maybe their grandchildren, right? So another one would get an image of their own children, right? So some children may be 30 years old, another person's child may be 11 years old. So now can you understand? The moment when I say child, various people in the audience would get different child feeling. But that feel, if you see, it is not just a feel, that's a live feel you get. I mean, it comes naturally, you know, that child smile, the child softness, the child, you know, kindness, I mean, all that will combine, and then kind of a combined feel or a short derived as the mind consciousness. So that's the feel. So that's the Vedana. That is the pleasurable, or that can be painful, or that can be neutral. Right? So that can happen. So then I'm going to ask you a question. Now our question is, why are we suffering? Now we understand from the first part of our discussion that particular suffering, it's not arise due to the outside. Then you will say, okay, if that not arise due to the outside, maybe that suffering arises due to the thoughts. Now you will say, you suffer just because of these thoughts. Because now this child, that particular child, that also comes as a thought. Even if I say house, that also comes as a thought. Even if I say your husband or wife, that also comes as a thought. Right? So now you get sufferings. No? Therefore, you will think this particular suffering comes from the thought. Because you feel the child, you feel the husband. So now the problem is, I'll tell you, now these thoughts are also unrealistic. Because that thought will appear, and then in the same moment it will disappear. Right? Very unfortunate. That will not even last for a second. Right? So there will be huge number of thoughts, even in a second, you can't hold it or you can't even squeeze it. That comes and naturally it dies there itself. That is the Chitta Niyama. You can't help it. So now can you understand? So you are attaching maybe to your child, but that's a thought. Even though you say you attach to the outside child, now in this system, now we understand. If you apply the wisdom, you will understand. There is no way in this system for you to experience that outside child. Then how you are going to, then why you get suffering? Actually, the only way you can attach to your child is through the thought. So in other words, you are, even though you think you are attaching to the external child, you are really attaching to your thought, to your own thought, to that particular illusion. That thought means what? It is just an illusion only. It's not real. Even there is no way in this system for you to experience the same outside child in this moment. Well, now you have to understand that combined shot or combined feel what you get is all the time derived from the past experience. So it is the old perceptions about the child will derive now, right, as against the new perception at the eye sensor level, right? So you are experiencing. There is no way in this system for you to experience the outside, the new perception there. Actually, what happens is due to the telepathy kind of a mechanism, that old perception, the old vibration, now you will be enjoying as the feel. So that feel all the time is past. So that's anyway unrealistic, right? But you don't feel it because without your knowledge, you connect that combined field derived as the illusion with the outside whoever standing in front of you. That naturally that bridge occur, right? So then Ajjata Bahita take place and things become real. But if you slowly analyze here, what really happens is that outside child, that perception, there's no way to, experience. What really happens is that new vibration which occur at your eye sensor level will be matched kind of with the old experience and old vibrations formed to the system, and kind of a transform vibration will occur there as the mind consciousness. So that is the combined shot. Even that combined shot is a past thing. So therefore it's very unrealistic. So that mind, if you just look at the mind angle, the mind can all the time experience Nama Dharma only. That is names. That is the five sensor consciousness. That eye consciousness and all that consciousness level, based on that, experience, it will derive kind of matching, and it will derive the previous vibration as the combined shot there. That's what it will happen. So never the mind can go outside, right? It has no facility to enjoy the outside at any given moment, right? So this moment means, because we have to understand this Dhamma in this moment, right? So in this moment, all the time, it will be a old vibration that you will feel now. Basically, you are feeling means that. But you have to understand there is no any other soul continuously kind of enjoying any feel, but that feel occur every moment and then it dies there itself. And that feel occur, feel disappear, feel occur, feel disappear, that's continuously happen. And then what will happen, you'll feel that there is somebody living. So that's a misconception. But if you leave that conception, that misconception out, then what's remain here? It's just a thought only. Thought means that feel, that combined feel. So that will not last, that will appear, that will disappear there itself. So that's what will happen. Now I'm going to ask you the same question again, right? So why do you suffer? Now you can understand. So answer cannot be even thoughts, right? Because if I ask you, are you get suffering just because of the thoughts? You will think it is because of the thought, because thought is the only one that I can experience. So I am getting suffering because of the thought. No. Because this thought, they are just sounds and form. What they can do. What they can do. I mean, they will come, they dies there itself, and then it is another thought. So the thought will flow until your last breath. So there will be a continuous flow of thoughts. Then why do I suffer? Then why I feel suffering? Now you are telling me it is not due to outside, and now you are telling me it is not even due to my thoughts. Then why I feel unhappiness? Why I feel suffer? Why I feel happiness? Right? So why do I feel my child? Why do I feel my husband? So you have to ask. Right? So the problem, my friend, the problem you have is why you are suffering, why you get suffering, just because, why? Just because you are still alive for yourself. Because now you know, through your knowledge, you know there is no soul here. There is no soul here. But that is just a knowledge for you only. That is just a knowledge for you. You haven't felt it in your system. Still, you are still alive in your system, right? So you feel you are alive. Whatever said and done, you feel you are alive, right? So that is your problem, because that Atma Drushtiya or Sakkaya Drushtiya has not faded away in your system. So it is not a problem of the outside, or it is not a problem of the senses, or it is not even a problem of thought. They will just, occur and that will disappear. But you continue to suffer, my friend, just because of this incorrect misconception of soul. And you haven't just felt, you haven't felt that it is just a vibration only. Because that misconception has not, diminished in your system. Because that is the problem. That's why you are suffering. Now you have to ask. So if the problem is not in outside, if the problem is not even the thoughts, because thoughts I can't control, even the outside I can't control, then why do I keep suffering? I suffer because of that ego, of that I, or due to that Atma Drushtiya, or that misconception of soul. That is the problem. You have to understand where the problem is. So, therefore, if you need to get rid of suffering, you shall not be, kind of avoiding outside or try to, maybe not look at a particular thing or not to hear a particular thing, try to avoid particular thing, try to refrain of doing kind of thing. I mean, that's not the path. Because the outside is real to you anyway, and you try to avoid it and try to, refrain yourself from suffer occurring. That's not the way. Else, even if you try to control your thoughts, right? You try to maybe control the thoughts, you do not want a particular thought and you don't want to think about it, and you control it maybe by taking another thought, you control it, right? So you do not want that thought to occur. Else, you will start doing kind of a meditation like samatha, concentration meditation, and then maybe on a particular sign, you keep your mind consciousness there, and so you have a kind of a nimitigata samadhi, that is kind of a sign-oriented tranquility you will maintain, then there will be no suffering. But see, the moment you come out even from that, you back again get suffering. So most of the time what we do, when we have a particular pain in ourselves, we try to change thoughts, no? How are we trying to change thoughts? Maybe we'll start watch a film, or maybe we go to the garden and water the plants, or maybe we'll listen to a music, or maybe we'll go somewhere else and spend the day. So that's how, we try to kind of control the suffering arises. So we'll try to change, whatever we do, and then we know then the thoughts will, change, and kind of, we try to control the thoughts. But is that the way to end the suffering? Now you can understand the problem is not even outside, not even in your thoughts. Thoughts is something you can't anyway control, because it is the vibration. Vibration talks how we are going to control. Everything is a vibration, and how you are going to control, because that is the law of nature. And the thoughts will come, thoughts will die, and it is a vibration only, and you can't control it. Then how to end the suffering? So the only way to end the suffering is what? You listen to this Dhamma, the true Dhamma, and understand about this soul. Where is this soul? Where is this soul? I need to find the soul in me. So where is this soul? Is that in my inside my body? Or is that in a particular body part? No, it cannot be. So then you will say it is the mind, but there is nothing called mind either. I mean, it is just a spark only. Then why, then where is this soul? Then where is this soul? You have to ask yourself. So now you need to understand, we have been explaining this you. So all the time in this Dhamma, do not ever think that the outside particular flower, let's say, that flower is the object or the Aramanya, and then that Aramanya means what? It is the spark in the sensor itself, and that Aramanya itself is the illusion, you see, and that illusion is the Vijnana or the mind, or the chitta, or the mind consciousness, and it is the soul itself. I mean, if you believe on a soul, you need to understand it is the soul, right? So that you are looking at the wall means wall is the soul. When you look at a bird, bird is the soul. When you look at the sky, sky is the soul. And when you look at the house, house is the soul. What else? There's no any other soul. The moment that the mind consciousness occurs, that is the soul. Because there is no any other soul. Because that mind consciousness derives the feel. That feel is the mind. There is no any other mind. That feel is the vibration. That feel, the Vedana, that feel, you see, that is the mind consciousness. So that feel, that occur, that disappear. So if you think there is a soul inside, then that is the soul and that can only live just a second. So it will occur, it will disappear, right? It will occur, it will disappear. So that means what? If you think you are alive, right? You are there, then you have only this moment. So it is only a moment. So in this moment, your birth occur and your death occur there itself. There is no any other soul here. There is no any other soul here. So this is the thing you need to understand. So if you feel you are still suffering, that means what? You have still that incorrect misconception, that particular sakkaya ditthi or atma drushti. You haven't killed that person yet, still alive in your system, that misconception. So the only way to get out of the suffering is what? You understand the truth. The truth is actually there is no soul here. So it is the chitta niyamaya, that particular feel occur, feel disappear as the mind consciousness. So there is nothing more than that. Even if you live for 2 days, 3 days, or even if you live for another 20 years or whatever, it is the same thing. So that particular pleasurable feeling or the painful feeling or that adukkama sukha feeling, neither pleasurable nor painful, will occur, will disappear. So do you want to make it yours? I mean, we need to understand. So that is the nature. I mean, that is that we can't help it. We can't control it anyway. The only thing we can understand is there is no soul inside for any ownership of that, any of that feeling. That's all we can do. So this is not just another theory, right? So you need to feel that your sakkaya drishtiya or your atma drishtiya fade away. As long as you are alive to you, what happened without your knowledge, whatever the things you know become a thing for you, that naturally come, right? So then you need to understand what is this Buddhakshane or the awakening to the moment. Because all of you are trying to, understand that. All of you are trying to experience awakening to the moment. Now you understand there is no soul here. So if you have only this moment that you understand. Now you need to understand what is this awakening to the moment. So most of the time I have seen in some conversations, sometimes some question whether particular incident have become a thing for me or whether it has not become a thing for me. I mean, how do you know whether something has become a thing for you or something has not become a thing for you? Right? So until until you experience kind of anatma sanya, or kind of, let's say, a non-soul perception, or a non-vibration, what will happen? You will be definitely in a vibration. That is thoughts. You are in a thought means what? You have some atma sanya. That is, you have some perception of soul. Because what happens here is, even though your sakkaya dushtya fade away, by listening to this Dhamma, there will be some kind of energy in your system due to the previous, vibrations, kind of existent feel, that comes as the Atma Sanya. So that behind every thought, there will be some Atma Sanya until you attain Nibbana. So if you want to experience the reality of this thought, right? Reality of a vibration, definitely you need to have a different experience of a non-vibration. When you experience a non-vibration only, you will know exactly what a thought is, what this vibration is. The moment you have experience of a non-vibration, that day you realize all these thoughts, whether it is, painful thought or a pleasurable thought or a adukkama sukha thought or whatever the thoughts, no matter, any thought is just a thought only. It is a vibration. So there is no requirement for you to even ask whether it has become a thing for you or not. There is no requirement to ask, because until you have the experience of anatma sanya, what happens? You have some atma sanya there itself. So that means naturally there will be some, to some extent, it has become a thing for you. But the question actually you need to ask yourself is not like whether a particular outside thing has become a thing for me. Instead, the question would be like, what kind of a burning I do have? What kind of a burning do I have? So that must be the correct question, because don't try to go along this path, with the thoughts. I'm sure if I ask from you whether how do you feel your soul, you will say there is no soul here. The soul is not exist. That is your thinking. That is just a thought for you only. That is not the path, right? So instead you come to the feel side. Instead you think, how do you feel now? Okay, I feel my child. From there you start and see, okay, there is a feel here, but this feel that will appear and disappear here itself. Here itself. That means it is only a moment. I have this, and it is only this moment only my birth and the death occur. That's how you need to come. Then when you come in the alive path, slowly you will realize there is no soul here. So it is just a feel only. Then if you do not have a soul, right, then what will remain? So then there will be a system only. So if the soul has died now, then who is going to work along the path? There's no soul. So it is just the system only. So let the system to kind of happen, that particular inner transformation. Let that happen. Don't block it, because who is going to block? Back again, your Atma or yourself. So that is the one who is trying to, go along a particular path. And then all the thought comes, because this Atma or the self all the time comes with the thought. So the moment you go along with the path, with the thought, what will happen? That system, there is some transformation, that inner transformation has to happen in the system. So that will completely block. Because now you have to understand, there is no soul here. So now you listen to true Dhamma and you realize there is no soul living inside. So that if there is a misconception, that misconception died already, and do you want now to regain it? No, let it die. And you try to feel the inner transformation of yourself. That's all what you have to do. So what is virya? So what is effort? Right? So what is the energy, so that virya or that energy, right, you need to have really not to carry someone along the path. Instead, you need to have virya or to the energy, you see, to let that transformation, that inner transformation in the system to happen. So that is the Samma Virya, right? So you have to let that to happen. It's not easy. It's not easy because you are still in thoughts, and you have no experience of a non-vibration. All the time you live with thoughts, a vibration, and you try to go along the path also with the thoughts. So the moment you try to bring thoughts here, what will happen? That system, that transformation, that internal transformation will block. That will block, right? So you need to understand what's the path is. And even at Satyajnana level, you try to, clarify fully 100% about the formation of your Atma or self. Because when you see how the mind or the thought or the soul is formed only, you will able to realize what this is all about. Then only you will able to get relief from the Atma or self, right? So, so if I ask you a question, do I have an eye? Do I have an ear? Do I have a nose? Do I have a body? Or do I have a mind? So what's the answer? Now just see, maybe you will feel, yeah, I think I have an eye, otherwise I cannot see. So this is how you look at this. But if you really, see this in the wisdom angle, you'll feel something different here. Now you have only this moment, no? In the previous moment, you died, isn't it? In the previous moment, you died. So in this moment, can I say, I have an ear? How come a died person have an eye or a nose or a tongue? So that died, you see, in the previous moment, because that's the nature in this system. So that feel disappear, mind disappear, thought disappear. So in the last moment, you die. So in this moment, your soul means what? Soul means the spark in the eye itself. So if there is a coconut tree, that coconut tree is the soul now. If you think there is a soul. Unless otherwise it's just a feel only. It is just a scene only. Right? So now can you understand? So there is no way, that particular spark or the scene is the soul itself here. if the seeing is the soul, then that soul dies itself even in this moment. And is there a way that you can say, I have a ear, I have a nose, I have a body? No, you can't do that. You can't do that. So that's why in and out, you try to understand what this is. What this is. The moment you clarify the soul, that is the path. That is the only way to, go along with the Nibbana path. There is no any other way. So, what is Buddhakshana? What is awaking to the moment? Awaking to the moment means one has to experience something beyond thought. So that means a non-vibration. That is the moment it will understand that all these thoughts are just vibrations and they are just meaningful, not meaningful. But you need to understand the entire Buddha's path is, path of jnana, or we call wisdom. So basically this all jnana, now if I give you a brief introduction of the jnana, this wisdom would be realized in a given moment. That means in the same Araman. Because we understand we have only this moment. So that is, moment means less than a second. No? So now you understand even Satya Jnana. Satya Jnana means what? Yatha Bhuta Jnana. Yatha Bhuta Jnana means ability to see the reality of the formation of mind or the formation of soul. So that is the Yatha Bhuta, right? So now we see it is something, occurrence type of a thing, and that is not a permanent thing. Now we understand. So then only it becomes a jnana or a wisdom, Yatha Bhuta Jnana. So even if you take some jnana, actually some jnana like, like Bhaitupatthana jnana, Bhanganudarshana jnana, certain jnana, in this Nibbana path, in a particular moment, that will be more prominent to you. I mean, you will experience it. But there will be, in overall, we might say, one will able to, get rid of a thought just because of all this jnana. So all the wisdom will help you to relieve from a particular thought or to liberate from a particular thought. So this is not a very big thing, but if somebody is interested, I thought I must give a brief, kind of an introduction here. So what is Udaya? Now, Udaya means there is awareness, in the system for a particular aramana or object occur. That is the occurrence. See the occurrence. Because there must be ability in the system to see the reality of any thought or to see the reality of the object, right? Or to see the reality of the illusion, right? For example, let's say you remember your son. So then there is awareness that illusion of the sun occurred in the system, right? So there is no doer here. So it will see through the illusion and not deceived by the illusion, right? So now you can understand Udaya Jnana means nothing else but see the origin of the illusion, right? Then what is the Vajnana? Vajnana means seeing the cessation of the illusion, right? So now when you say Vajnana, that is the wisdom that is free from the thought, right? Now, one who see Udaya, one who see the origin will able to, seize the thought, no? I mean, it will not become a thing. Basically, it will not become a thing because that is seen through the wisdom, right? So, we understand Sabbe Sankara Anicca. So, that means all Sankara are impermanent, right? All Sankara impermanent. So, no meaning. Even these words or even this knowledge, everything is Sankara. So, they are impermanent. There is no meaning in any of that. So, then there is another jnana, that is the Munyitu Kamyata jnana. Right? So, Munyitu Kamyata jnana means basically your system has awareness. So, kind of awareness in the system that it was free from the thought. Right? So, there is a kind of a liberation. That liberation also happens through understanding. You see? Even it knows that it liberated. So that is the Munyitu Kamyata jnana. Now, for example, let's say your son is the Aramane, the object, right? And you realize that you are not attached and you free from your son. You associate the same son, but there is kind of no attachment. Maybe it is a scene only. So, something like that. So that means what? Here we have to understand any object or any aramana, whatever occur, that is seen by the awareness or wisdom. No? That is, we say samudaya jnana. Right? And one who has samudaya only can experience appagamaya, no? That is vaya jnana. One who have the samudaya, one who see that only will able to experience Sattagame. Right? Like if I give you example, let's say if you attach to your son, right? Then the wisdom see the samudaya. And then it also see adina or consequences. And then what will happen? It will free or that Attagamaya will take place. Right? So, that's how you can see. Even things like Bhanganudarshana Jnana. So, one would be able to experience. Because one who see the reality of Udeva Jnana will not find any Atman. There is no self. So there is no existence of a soul. So that soul becomes just a wax image only. And that will melt away. So, and there is no meaning behind it. So one will see the reality of it. Right? Then if you take something like Bhayatupatthana Jnana, so there will be understanding that all sankara, all thoughts, are unrealistic, and it's not worth attaching. So, and everything is just a thought only, and the entire in samsaric journey, I mean, whatever the birth. So that's what you have to, live with it. I mean, there is no meaning. I mean, even if you even if your birth occur again and again, so there is nothing, meaningful you will find except a thought. So those are, various, yeah. So another point I'd like to highlight theories, sometimes when you move along the path and when you realize that there is no soul inside, sometimes there can be a kind of a temporary uncomfortability you will experience, because I mean, sometimes it will be difficult for you that when you realize that there is no soul, whether are able to continue without a soul, and that kind of an ibida stage can happen. But for some it will happen, some it may not happen, maybe. So but that itself is very temporary, because what happens is someone will listen to this Dhamma, and it will it will be in somanasa sahagata mindset, and then then it will realize that there is no soul inside, and sometimes it will have kind of a domanasa as well, and then the Geya Sita slowly will become upeka. That means you will become neutral itself, and there is nothing to worry. But if you have any doubts or question when you move along the path, all the time you can contact us through the Zoom, and we are definitely will help you and show you the correct path. Even the Aryan Mahansi is always contactable, and you can contact and clarify any doubts, then and there. So there's nothing, major thing to worry here. So everything will happen. So all what you have to do is to learn Satya Jnana, or the true Dhamma, and try to identify the reality of the soul, because you are living with that incorrect soul. So the moment you understand that, the rest of the things will happen. So I mean, it will happen. So there's no any magic here, but it's very, scientific. So Adinanupassana Jnana means it's another jnana. So basically on a given arambane or object, so you can understand one who has Adivananu jnana means one he see adina or consequences can only go for nissarana, or detachment. So this is very realistic. Then there is another wisdom we call Patisankha Jnana. That means there cannot be any doubts in the process. So basically Patisankha Jnana is given before the Sankhara Upeksha Jnana. So so there shall not be any doubts, because all the time in this path everything comes to the experience, so it is not a thought. So in the path you shall not be any doubts if you are correctly coming through the path. So it is a path of experience, and where you are going. So then it is the Sankhara Upeksha Jnana. Basically Sankhara Upeksha Jnana means all thoughts automatically achieve kind of a balanced state of mind, right? So now don't try to go behind these words. These are just different names given for specific field. So therefore don't just run by the words, but you can understand. One would realize all these Udaya Jnana, Vaya Jnana, Munyita Kammeta Jnana, Adivanānupassana Jnana, Patisankha Jnana, Sankhara Upeksha Jnana, basically in the same arambane, or same object in a given moment. So, right? So now even from that you can understand, human can't do this. Right? Human can't do this. So definitely the wisdom has to happen. Wisdom has to apply, and all jnana means what? All wisdom has to apply in a second, right? So, and it has to apply, and there is no doer here, and then the liberation will happen. So, I mean, you will experience this, samadhi, state of kind of, we say insight samadhi here, kind of tranquility. So definitely you will experience less talks, right? So all this time you are very much talking, but now you will be pretty much want to have some inner kind of isolation, inner silent kind of thing. And that inner silent you will experience. So definitely you will have less talks, and there will be less vitakka vichara, in other words, less talks. And then you have preeti. Preeti means kind of a cool state of mind. Actually, it is not the happiness in the mundane world, but kind of, salvation. And then ekagata means kind of a mental concentration, right? And the animitta samadhi, you understand, it is the opposite to nimitigata samadhi. So nimiti means there are signs, but here it is the absence of signs, and so it will be emptiness and wishlessness. There will not be any expectation. So basically, it will be kind of akampita, akupachito vimukti, where the mind will not be formed. So vinyanang anidassanang happen, or apatitta vinyane will occur. Basically it will, because anything will not become a thing, right? So it is the path, to nibbana, and it's a highly practical path. There is no doer. The path is purely based on understanding, and any person would feel or enjoy all this jnana or the wisdom along the path. So I think that's enough for today's discussion, and we'll discuss this Dhamma on another date as well. Therwan Saranai, everyone. Therwan Saranai, Dhamma friends.
Oh, Therwan Saranai.
Therwan Saranai, sir. Thank you so much to our Dhamma friend for her speech. And also, Therwan Saranai, sir, much praise to you for your interaction. Thank Therwan Saranai.